It, you mean right, Oh, this is an automatic boat. Is someone driving?
No, go south.
South.
South. I was in Ireland 6 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Let's go Westport.
Okay, we know.
Wait, Mayo.
Yeah, Westport, yes, yeah.
Ooh, look. It's an automatic driver. Is someone driving? Is someone driving? My light is gone.
Okay, notice as we've got into the tunnel, it suddenly got very wide.
Okay.
Now in 1893, the third railway tunnel was built on the right hand side.
Okay.
The tracks had to come from the left.
Okay.
So they built this, they smashed their way through the top of the canal tunnel and put this railway arch underneath, and this is purely to support the weight of the train. Originally, before the third railway tunnel was built, it would have been the same.
We're going to the real tunnel. Like tunnel. Yes. Tunnel. It's like two
So the
tunnels.
tunnel was started in 1793. And the engineer they set on to build the tunnel was called Benjamin Outram. And Benjamin Outram said he could build 3¼ miles of canal tunnel. Build the canal system itself, total length is 19¾ miles. So he could build 19¾ miles. Build the tunnel and it put 74 locks on that tunnel. And he said he could do the whole job in 6 years, which was quite optimistic for 1793. As you can imagine, tooling would have been quite basic then. So iron bars, wheelbarrows, shovels, and the only explosives they had was gunpowder. And if they had to drill a hole, place the gunpowder, and they use this. This is your 1793 Black & Decker drill. Okay? So that's how they place the gunpowder. It would have been 2 yards long originally, this. It would have been held against the rock face. And then 2 men, or 1 or 2 men, would strike in turn with a sledgehammer, and every strike is a quarter turn. Eventually that will drill a hole in the rock. But we have some very hard rock in this hillside. It's called millstone grit. It's nearly as hard as granite. So hard going. We built the canal at both sides of the hill and made a start on the tunnel. But after 10 years, this 6-year project, this active. It overrun by 4 years and he still hadn't finished the tunnel. And the tunnel itself, we hadn't really done a good job with that neither. You look down this tunnel, if this tunnel was 6 miles long, you can't see any light at the end of this tunnel. And that's because this tunnel isn't straight. In fact, it's a long way straight. It's in the middle, or when they started to dig from Diggle, and also from Mars, and they're coming towards each other. Guess what happened, can't you? You missed. 2 tunnels, not 1. And they would have been, if they carried on digging, 60 feet amiss. Not only that, it would have been a real Mars and then they were digging down there. It's at 60 foot across. So after about 10 years, all work stopped. And it took another 12 months. Thomas Telford. We've heard of Thomas Telford, he was a premier engineer there. And he came in and said it would take another £25,000. Another 5 years. So more or less on target and on price to finish the tunnel. It took a total of 17 years, not 6 years. So the tunnel didn't open up until 1811, which was okay, about 30 years. What happened after about 30 years, obviously, the railways came about then. The railways in the 1830s were all over the rest of the country, but because we had the Pennines, then they were a bit slower. coming up here. The problem is, same problem the canal had. How do you get a train over that big hill? The canal company did it like going underneath. The train company had to do it. You can't send trains up hills really, they don't really go uphill very well. So they didn't do the tunnel. They did the first tunnel on the left hand side of it. Now that tunnel would be the longest tunnel in the world when it was dug. 3¼ miles long, the exact same length as the canal. And they set about doing that in about 1846, something like that. Finished by about 1848. Right, about 3 years. Now you can imagine 3 years to finish that tunnel, 17 years to build this one. It's only 30 years later, they're still using gunpowder. So how did they build that tunnel so quickly? Because they had the canal, they could build their tunnel. That's a net giveaway to the gunpowder. On the route to the tunnel. Railway lines and railway sleepers. And that's how they built the first railway line. By building 37 passageways out of the side of the canal.
Well, that's great.
And then when they got in so far, they levelled out and built sideways. They 37 ways, managed to finish the tunnel.
Oh yeah.
17 builders. When they built this tunnel, not only did they start building on the side, they actually put construction shafts down from the wall. Now these shafts, some of them are 645 feet deep. We are going to go under one that's 645 feet deep.
Okay.
We'll ask you to come inside. We have a fair bit of water coming in there.
Oh, really? Okay. Why did they build this one? What
Because
is the
of the
purpose?
textiles.
Oh, it's for the
Right,
textiles.
when the textiles first took off and it became industrialised,
Yeah.
before 1798, it was a cottage industry. All the weaving was done in people's cottages and houses. And then it became industrialised. They needed dozens, hundreds of tons of wool. They needed tons and tons of coal.
Okay.
Okay, and they needed to get the finished wool products to America, to the Liverpool docks, and the cotton products needed to get to Hull docks to go to Europe.
Okay.
So they could export cotton all over the world, lots of tons. So you would have got maybe 25 tons of wool in a boat like this, or 25 tons of wool products, or 25 tons of coal. Could have been 25 tons of limestone to build it. Anything that needed to be carried in bulk.
Okay.
The only way you could carry that in the 1800s. We don't have motorways, we don't have internal combustion engines. Before this canal was built, we didn't even have trains. So,
What was the propulsion when this was built?
manpower. So 2 men, basically, would have laid across the front of the boat and they would have put the legs on the wall.
Yeah, like this. Yeah.
Sideways, walk like a crab down. So 40 tons of boat and cargo through the tunnel in 3 hours to 3 hours 15 minutes. And every though, they would have come back in an hour and a half. One trip there in the morning to Deagle. There's always Deagle to Mars to Deagle, and then Deagle to Mars to return. So always, first trip, always random. So, say you set off at 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, even in that, it's always there. It works all night, it's always there. So, these markings, this is just the engineer's marks, okay? Surveyors, what we call surveyors, engineers. Good question, So, 2 men on the front of each boat, they would leg the way down. Through to Diggle, back before dinner, back after dinner, back before they went off. So 2 full trips there and back. And there were people queuing up to do it, because it was a very well paid job.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, definitely should be.
Yeah, they were paid on the results, so if you could get 2 trips in a day, a lot more than what you would have earned in the mill, or as a farm labourer. this shaft will go under now.
ഡീപ്പിലേക്ക് പോവാണ് വെള്ളം തെറിക്കുമ്പോ
That way. And in 14 places they did that across the length of the hill, the line of the hill. They wanted a dry tunnel, so they didn't want water coming down. Once the tunnel's finished, we want plenty of water coming down here. Not to fill the canal up. What we want the water to do is bring fresh air down into the tunnel. Because we're not a construction shaft now, it's now an air shaft. And we've kept 5 more open like this as air shafts. The rest have been blocked up. If you look up, straight up, you will see daylight. It's a bright day. This shaft is 20 feet in diameter. It's unlined, not lined like this. It's just a bare rock. So you will see daylight through those wood walls up there. The reason we've got a roof on it, it's unlined shaft, it's bare rock. Can you imagine what happens after 200 years, that bare rock? Things start to fail, don't they? You know, frost gets down there and rocks fall down. We don't want rocks falling 645 feet down and hitting a boat going underneath. So they put these roofs over the top, and this one's 200 years old, this roof. It's had water running over it all that time, and these are oak, beams, and they do not rot, even after 200 years. You want to go outside this time? Are we going outside? I'll dry feet.
അവിടെ പോയി എത്ര ഉള്ളോ അവിടെ പോകില്ലേ
പോലായിരിക്കും വെള്ളമായിരിക്കും അതാ പുള്ളി തുടങ്ങുന്നത് റിട്ടേൺ പോയി അറ്റം വരെ പോയില്ല അത് അറ്റം വരെ പോയില്ല.
Wow. April. We've always started running them again, the duties. Okay, so the short ships run again in February.
2 and a half hours the full length
2 hours to go. 2 hours to go all the way through. Have you noticed here we've got bare rock? Right, they ran out of money obviously. They overran by 11 years on this project, so they could not afford to lie really. The last time it was for serious in 1918, and it shut down in 1947.
ഇതാണ് വെള്ളം പൊങ്ങാനും നോക്കണല്ലോ നമുക്ക്
അല്ല അത് ലോക്ക് ഇട്ടു 2 സൈഡിലും 32 ലോക്കും 42 and 32 ആണ് അതങ്ങനെ.
And to give it to prove a point, this is a turn of the century photograph, about 1905. And what do we see coming out before the boat? Smoke. And to give you some idea just how black that first railway tunnel is, that is the first railway tunnel at the side of us. Unused of course now, we don't have no railway tracks in there, we just have a road built through it and we actually drive up and down that road. When we're taking boats. Yes, when we're taking boats through we have to have a van in that tunnel. We're going all the way through and he's watching the lights down those construction shafts into the canal. So that's what the railway tunnel looks like. Yeah.
Is it used for the public or just private use?
The public, if you have your own boat, if you were taking your own boat through, you're allowed to go into the tunnel. You're allowed to come through this tunnel. You must have one of either myself or my colleagues on
No,
board.
no, the other one. The other one. No.
Nobody's allowed it. People do get in. If you want to have a look in that tunnel, go on YouTube and put Standedge Tunnel Marsden and it will come up. People in the tunnel taking films. So, but officially you're not allowed in. It is actually chained up at both sides.
Talk about real.
Now if we're going all the way through this tunnel, health and safety says now that we have to have a means of escape. So if anybody had a heart attack on board the boat, remember it takes 2 hours to get all the way through. If we're 40 minutes into the tunnel, we can't get out. It's going to take at least an hour to get out. So we have to be able to get into that disused railway tunnel and get you out into fresh air where an ambulance can pick you up. So we do. So tomorrow we're going to start dewatering this tunnel and the canal. Well, this section up to the railway bridges will be drained. So the boats are going to have to go in there. I'm going to build a dam outside the tunnel here, hold the boats in there out back, and then this is going to be drained off this. We're going to work on this section, so today is the last day the boats are running this year.
All these 4 tunnels are the same length? No.
All the 4 tunnels?
And same length?
Same length, yes.
Is it? Same
Well,
length.
this one's a bit longer now.
Okay.
There are 3 miles or 3 1/4 miles. The canal tunnel's a little bit longer. When they built the 3rd railway tunnel, they had to build an extension to take the railway lines back across at the other side. So they built about 200 yards extension to the tunnel, and they ran the railway lines over the top. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting there. What is? That's what you call drivers when they're in tunnels. That's what you call.